Most people play the game of life by simply trying to collect more resources, money. They believe having a huge pile of gold or food means they're winning, that it brings respect, freedom, and power to their small land. But this is the first big misunderstanding. Money isn't the win itself, it's just resources. Having many resources doesn't make your nation strong. It just shows what kind of player you are. Give a hesitant player many resources, and they might just hold on to them, without a plan, letting them spoil. Give a careless player many resources, and they'll likely spend them quickly on weak defenses. But give a smart, focused player many resources, and they will quietly build a powerful nation. The other players won't even realize they're being outplayed until their borders are everywhere. Machiavelli didn't care about how many resources a player had. He watched how they played the game. He saw money not as the final score, but as a key tool for victory. Silent, powerful, and almost always misunderstood. For him, wealth wasn't something to just gather, it was something to master on the strategy board. If you don't understand this, your resources won't help you win. They'll become a burden, even if you think you're ahead. Most players miss this. They just want more resources, more turns, more visible scores, all the outward signs, thinking they're becoming master players. But they don't see that the whole game board they're playing on was set up by someone else. Someone who controls the rules, the rewards, and the hidden tricks. An old saying goes, true wealth is not in having many things, but in needing few. But today, many of us just want more. More wins, more praise, more attention. We call this freedom. But Machiavelli saw a deeper truth. A player who needs a huge, visible score to feel powerful is already controlled by the game itself. Real power isn't proven by how many resources you collect. It's shown by how little you change once you have a strong position on the board. Chapter 1. The Unseen Rules. What money really buys you. There's a cold truth most players never want to face. The game board doesn't care about your dreams for a peaceful nation, your kind intentions, or even your clever ideas. What it does care about, what it bows to, is resources. Money is your armor, your army, and your master key. Without it, your borders are open. With it, you hold the power to build. And if you don't believe this, watch how fast other players forget the weak nations but praise the rich ones. Most people are taught to think about money, resources, in small, safe ways. Save a little here, spend a little less there, and maybe one day you'll have a small plot of land. But Machiavelli would laugh at this. He understood something most people refuse to admit. If you don't fight to gather massive amounts of resources, enough to build unbreakable walls around your nation, then you will always be under someone else's control. Think about it. When a player with many resources takes their turn, others listen. When a player without resources takes their turn, people look away. Money, resources, changes the air around you. It bends rules, calms rivals, and brings allies to help. Even your mistakes are overlooked when you have many resources, but without them, even your smallest flaw is magnified. The common reaction to this truth is denial. Players want to believe that good character matters more, that alliances based on love conquer all, that kindness brings rewards. And while those things may matter in your own small team, in the big game of nations, it's resources that decide who grows and who shrinks. That's why most players who ignore this truth end up trapped, working endless turns, begging for chances, living in quiet frustration. The principle is simple. Money is power in its purest form. It buys turns, it buys freedom to act, it buys safety for your nation. Without it, you are chained to the will of others. With it, you can shape the game board around you. Machiavelli knew that rulers who lacked resources were always at the mercy of those who had them. Today, nothing has changed. You may not sit on a throne, but you are playing a game where the currency is not swords, but gold and food. If these truths about playing the game of power are starting to shape your thinking, you're ready to make your nation's blueprint. Hit that like button now, and make sure to subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so you don't miss our next deep dive into these essential strategies. Your support helps us share this crucial wisdom, Chapter 2, Player versus Architect, Building your own rules, psychologically, money, resources, also changes how other players see you. When they know you have a lot of it, they treat you differently. Not because of who you are, but because of what they think you can do for their nation. Respect, admiration, even wanting to join your team, all of it grows when you are wealthy. The cruel part is that most players will never admit this. They'll say, "I don't care about resources," but watch how they admire the rich nations, copy their strategies, and envy their wins. And what happens when you don't play this game strategically? You become invisible. The world passes you by. Opportunities shrink. You are treated as background, not as a main player. When you ask for something, it feels like begging. When you try to push back, no one listens. Without resources, your voice is soft. With resources, even your silence is loud. This is the consequence of ignoring Machiavelli's wisdom. Being poor, or even just having enough, makes your nation weak. You may think you're safe with a stable job, a steady trickle of resources, a small house or a small bank account. But one bad turn, one sudden bill, one crisis can crush you. That's why Machiavelli would say you must acquire so many resources at all costs. Not a little, not just enough to get by, but enough to build walls around yourself that no one can climb. So what's the alternative? It's to shift your thinking from just surviving each turn to dominating the entire game. Stop asking, "How do I just keep my nation going?" and start asking, "How do I build wealth that commands respect?" Most players crawl through the game afraid to take risks, afraid to demand more, afraid to upset anyone. But those who rise, the ones who acquire vast resources, play a different game. They understand that money, resources, must be chased, piled up, and guarded with relentless focus. This doesn't mean greed for greed's sake, it means power. Because with enough resources, you choose when to play, who to play with, where to expand, and how to live. You buy back your turns from the grip of society. And those who fail to see this will spend their days trading their time cheap, always answering to someone else's call. In business, a turn on the board. Think about who wins the big deals, who gets the advantage, who sets the rules. It's not the desperate player, it's the one who doesn't need the deal. And the only reason they don't need it is because they already have plenty of resources. In relationships, team strategy, think about who sets the pace. It's the one who has options, and money resources multiplies options endlessly. Even in politics, global game turns. Leaders rise and fall not because of noble speeches, but because of financial backing. Chapter 3. Strategy for Victory Beyond Just Effort. When you start to see money, resources, as the ultimate weapon, your decisions change. You stop wasting turns. You stop chasing temporary pleasures that drain your pockets. You start thinking like a nation's ruler, not like a servant. Every dollar, resource becomes a soldier, and your job is to send them out to conquer more land, more resources. The poor spend their resources as fast as they earn them. The rich make their resources multiply. That's the only difference. But here's the trick, Machiavelli would whisper. Don't just aim to make a small village, aim to build a fortress nation. A fortress so strong that no storm can touch you. People will call you ruthless, obsessed, maybe even cold. But when trouble comes, when the game board collapses, they'll look at you with envy because you'll be the one standing tall while they scramble for scraps. And here's the impact of walking this path. Suddenly, other players chase you. They want your approval, your partnership, your time. The same game board that ignored your small projects before now bows its head. That's the transformation money brings. It flips the power dynamic. When you have nothing, you are at the mercy of everyone. When you have everything, they are at the mercy of you. Now the real masters go even further. They don't just collect resources, they weaponize them. They use them to buy influence, to silence rivals, to create loyalty among their teams. Sometimes, they even hide their true wealth, resources, letting others underestimate them while they quietly build huge nations. The advanced move is not just to get resources, but to make your supply invisible until the right moment when revealing it crushes all opposition. And the end game? Freedom. Not the kind of freedom people pretend to have when they're stuck playing 40 years for a small pension. Real freedom. The ability to say no, to walk away, to live without fear. That's what money buys. That's why Machiavelli would tell you, acquire so much of it that no one can ever chain you again. End chapter 4, the mastermind's moves, assets and leverage. So remember this, every excuse you make, every delay, every moment you say, it's not about the money, those are chains tightening around your neck. Break them. Pursue money, resources like your survival depends on it, because in many ways, it does. Money is not just paper, not just numbers on a screen. It's trust, it's leverage, it's permission to build. And the truth is, the game gives more to the one who already has plenty. That's why you must aim for so much money, not just a little. Because a little money buys groceries, but so much money buys silence. It buys doors opening before you even knock. It buys your children's future. Most people never make this leap in thinking. They live turn to turn, paycheck to paycheck, hoping for a lucky roll or a bonus, trapped in a cycle. They say things like, I don't need much, just enough to be comfortable. That sentence is the very chain around their neck. Because once you think like that, you stop fighting. You stop playing to win big. You settle for crumbs while others are feasting. Machiavelli would tell you, comfort is the enemy. Once you think you have enough, you're already losing. Because while you sit back and enjoy small pleasures, someone else is building empires. Someone else is buying land, buying influence, buying the very laws you must follow. And one day, their power crushes you while you whisper, but I was comfortable. Here's the psychology. Humans respect abundance. We bow to whoever has more. Even children understand this. The kid with the biggest toy gets attention. The man with the fastest car turns heads. The woman with the most expensive dress commands the room. This isn't about showing off. It's about how the human brain works. We are wired to follow strength, and money is the modern symbol of strength. Think about the consequences of not chasing massive wealth. Every bill becomes a stress. Every price increase is a punch in the stomach. You live in fear. Fear of losing your job. Fear of getting sick. Fear of something breaking. Fear controls you. But money kills fear. With enough of it, the things that terrify most people are nothing but small annoyances to you. A broken car? Replace it. A medical bill? Paid. A lost job? Who cares? You don't need it. That's why the alternative is clear. Chase so much money, resources, that problems feel like dust. Because when problems shrink, your mind opens. You think bigger, you dream bolder. You stop living in defense and start living on offense. Now, how do you actually do this? Let's look at tactics. The poor think about income, getting paid for their turn. The rich think about assets, things that keep working even when you sleep. Income is the money you trade your time for. Assets are the money that keeps working even when you sleep. That's the first shift. You can't just earn, you must build. For example, imagine two players. One plays 12 hours a day, proud of his grind. He earns just enough, maybe a little extra. But his body breaks, his time disappears, and if he stops playing, everything stops. The second player spends his time building systems, businesses, investments, skills that grow. At first, he looks less busy compared to the grinder, but 5 years later, he's free. His money works harder than he ever could. That's the Machiavellian approach. Another tactic. Learn to love leverage. One resource wisely used can bring back 10. One strong relationship, ally, wisely built, can bring back a lifetime of open doors. The poor hoard money like it's precious gold. The rich deploy money like it's an army. Every dollar, resource has a job to bring back more dollars. And here's where most people fail. They're afraid of risk. They'd rather stay safe and small. But Machiavelli would laugh at that. He'd say safety is an illusion. You think you're safe because you play small. You're not. You're one layoff away from collapse, one illness away from ruin. Playing small is the biggest risk of all. So the advanced move is this. Don't just chase money, chase control of money. Learn how it flows, who controls it, and how you can put yourself in that position. The banker doesn't work harder than you. The landlord doesn't sweat more than you. But they control money flows, so money never stops flowing to them. And watch the impact of this mindset shift. Suddenly, when you sit at a table to make a deal, you're not desperate. You are the deal. People adjust their tone, their offers, their respect, because they know you don't need them. And nothing is more powerful than not needing anyone. End chapter 5. The Master Builder's Health, the Strongest Foundation. At this point, you may feel resistance. You may think, but isn't chasing money, resources, at all costs greedy? Isn't it selfish? That's the lie society tells you to keep you weak. Notice who says it. Usually, those who want you poor, obedient, and quiet. They tell you money is evil, so you stop chasing it while they quietly collect it themselves. The truth is, money reveals character. If you're generous, money makes you more generous. If you're cruel, money makes you more cruel. Money is not evil, it's a magnifier. Machiavelli would remind you, power always has enemies, and money is no different. If you dare to build a great city, some will hate you. But their hate doesn't matter when you're untouchable. Their opinions don't pay for your city's walls. Their gossip doesn't feed your family. And here's the bitter reality. If you stay poor to please them, they still won't respect you. So why play their game? Now imagine the freedom you gain once you've acquired massive wealth, many resources. You wake up and decide how to spend your day. You choose who to work with. You choose where to live, what to eat, what to drive. You don't beg for vacation days. You take them. You don't panic about bills. You ignore them. That's not luxury. That's survival on your own terms. The poor often dream about vacations, fancy things, and showing off. But that's not the real prize. The real prize is freedom. The ability to say no without fear. The ability to walk away without regret. That's why you must chase money at all costs. Not for shiny toys, but for unshakable freedom. And when you reach this point, something shifts. People begin to gather around your city. They want your approval, your partnership, your time. The same world that ignored your small projects before now bows its head. That's the transformation money brings. It flips the power dynamic. When you have nothing, you are at the mercy of everyone. When you have everything, they are at the mercy of you. But all the strong plans in the world mean nothing if the master builder, your body, collapses. And for most men, that foundation isn't their building plans, it's their physical health. Without energy and health, even great wealth becomes a heavy burden. This is the last and greatest mistake, neglecting your health. And why Machiavelli believed that taking care of yourself is the first and final law of power. Machiavelli once said, "A wise man builds his fortress not of stone, but of strategy." But even strategy breaks down if the man behind it weakens. I've seen many builders retire with strong plans, only to lose their greatest asset, their vitality. You can hire others to manage your building materials, but you cannot hire someone to manage your body. And when your body fails, everything else goes with it. Not investing in your health is the most expensive mistake of all, because the cost doesn't show up as a bill. It shows up as stolen time and lost ability. Fortune luck smiles on those who can still move, think clearly, and act with discipline. The wealthy understand this naturally. You'll rarely see billionaires skipping sleep or ignoring exercise. They know their body is the engine of every decision they make. Warren Buffett once said, if you could buy one car for life, you'd take care of it like a treasure. Yet most people treat their body, the only vehicle they truly own for life's journey, with neglect. Machiavelli believed that no ruler could command others if he could not first command himself. Self-control, not giving in to every desire, is the source of lasting influence. That's why health isn't just about living longer. It's about commanding the years you have left. A healthy body gives you a calm mind. A calm mind gives you clear thinking, and clear thinking gives you power. When you lose health, you don't just lose time. You lose control over your destiny. And if you look closely, this final principle connects every single one before it. Choosing a smaller, useful building over a huge, showy one teaches humility, helping you control pride. Keeping only useful tools, possessions, not just symbols, teaches you to be smart. Not giving too much help to your grown children when it hurts your own security teaches discipline. Avoiding fake brand illusions teaches clear thinking. Managing your materials wisely teaches you to plan ahead, and protecting your health teaches you true command over yourself. In every part of life, the same rule governs. Control over your quick desires keeps your power strong. When Machiavelli advised rulers to appear kind but remain strategic, he wasn't saying to be mean. He was describing how to stay calm under pressure. The builder who remains calm when emotions push him to act without thinking is the one who wins over time. This applies to love, money, and health equally. Because the real downfall of most people isn't being unsmart, it's overdoing things. They eat too much, spend too much, give too much, or believe too much. And each excess slowly takes away their power, bit by bit. In contrast, the disciplined live by removing what harms them. Huge, unnecessary buildings, symbolic tools, debts disguised as kindness, and distractions disguised as fun. They live smaller to think larger. Their freedom is built on smart limits. The ruler who controls his desires controls his city. And in modern terms, that city is your mind, your money, and your time. Even in the world of high finance, this truth lasts. The fund manager who survives every crisis is not the one who takes the biggest risks. It's the one who masters self-control. The family that sustains wealth across generations isn't the one that spends a lot. It's the one that preserves discipline through the generations. The billionaire who still exercises daily and reads a lot isn't obsessed. He's Machiavellian. He knows that power without lasting strength is like a candle in the wind. In my own life, I've seen this rule hold true again and again. The people who last in business, in marriage, in health are not the ones who had the most, but the ones who adapted the fastest. They downsized before they were forced to. They fortified before the storm. They chose efficiency over comfort and clarity over vanity. As Machiavelli warned, the man who relies on luck falls with her. The man who relies on discipline stands even when luck turns away. So as you move forward, ask yourself, where does my city's power leak? Through buildings I no longer use? Through generosity that endangers my security? Through overdoing things that weaken my body? Through markets I fear instead of master? The answers to these questions form your blueprint for sovereignty. Because in the end, money without control is slavery in disguise. Wealth without health is despair with decoration. And success without discipline is a brief illusion of power before the fall. Machiavelli's lesson lasts forever. Protect your resources, sharpen your judgment, and master yourself. For those who cannot command their own city are commanded by the world's storms. If you found this valuable, the next step is simple. Continue learning how to truly command. Hit the like button if this journey has given you a clearer map for building your city. Your support helps us share these vital lessons. Subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Don't miss our next video. Keep building strong, keep planning, and never stop growing your city.